Yeah. Unlicensed fighting. I come from West London. I come from Acton, West London, and I've had a few fights as an amateur, and I still love fighting. Just love fighting. And when I come out of prison, I've heard so much about the unlicensed fighting through Cliff Fields and other people that I've met in prison, and Ray Bender and also Alex Steen asked me to go into professional fighting, but I couldn't get a license again. Yeah, so I lost the license, so I knocked that on the head, and went into unlicensed fighting. So I went down a pub down the road, met Eddie Richardson and a few other people, and I was told to go to Thomas to Beckett. It was very near. Went Old Coat Road, down Beckett, went in the Beckett and met a guy called Jimmy Tippet. He was training some other people. I went in there, started shadow boxing and using the bag. And Jimmy came up to me and said, "What's your name?" Told him, "My name's Rael. Are you interested in unlicensed fighting?" I said, "Yeah, that's why I come from West London, really. Yeah, I'd love to do that. Yeah, that's what I want to do." So he said, "Okay." He said, "What do you fancy training every day and all that running?" I said, "Yeah, that's what it's about, man." Isn't it? So I told him where I live. I said, I live in Brookbank Road, Lewisham." Yeah, of course, I live at that pub down the bottom of the road, the Two Ways pub." I went, "Yeah, I was told that by Eddie." Yeah. Anyway, met Jim a few times down there. I used to go running nearly every day with a pack and all around the hilly fields. Anywhere I could run, I'd run. Up hilly fields, over the back swimming pool, everything. I was to keep running. I loved it, man. I just loved running with big packs in my back full of sand and all that, yeah. I was getting really, really fit, really defined, cut up from a guy that was 19 stone. I went down to about 17 and a half stone, but I was ripped to pieces, all cut, mate. And then the first fight they give me, this guy knocked me spark out, mate. Another guy, Harvey's knocked him spark out. And then they got me a fight with a guy called Brian Hall. Brian Hall was at, I think it was a Tottenham Mayfair. It was the same bill, I think, as Cliff Fields when he fought Red Drops and all that, and I was on that bill, yeah. And I think I was about the third fight in, and me and Brian Hall got together. I think it was 8 rounds, 10 rounds, something like that, and I thought I won the fight, but it was given as a draw. So I was happy with the draw anyway. I didn't want to, I was happy with that, yeah. Jumped out the ring, jumped on the guy's foot more or less, Lenny McLean. Lenny McLean had a go at me saying he could have knocked the guy out and this, that and the other. I wasn't really interested in Lenny McLean, mate. He was about 16 and a half, maybe 15 and a half, 16, something like that. You can't really judge weights really, just by, the only way you can really judge it is get on the scales. So I met Frankie Warren with Len and Jimmy Tippet, and we arranged to go down and spar with Lenny. Didn't fancy him, didn't think he was all that, not at all. You just got to Beckett, spar with Roy Shaw. Roy Shaw, good fighter. Could bang Roy, and just had a few rounds with Roy, a few rounds with Les Stevens, Johnny Frankham's mate from Reading. Good fighter, Les Stevens, mate. Very good fighter. And I think it was a southpaw. Les, I'm not quite sure. Les taught me a lot. Mate. He hit me around the belly quite a lot of times, and I realised that the belly was always open. Put my arms down, he came over and shot, bang. And he was a good fighter, Les Stevens, mate. Good fighter. And anyway, so I started having more fights. Cats was to Streatham. And then Harvey Social Club, Dulwich. I went quite a few places to fight, loads of fights I had, mostly doormen. Because I said I beat lots of doormen, don't mean to say doormen are mugs, because they wasn't. I mean, they come into fight, and when they come into fight, a lot of them could fight. You know what I mean? So you've got to be very careful. They come in like lunatics, throwing punches from all angles. Unless you get down, you get the one that can fight, and then you're in a bit of trouble. But just lay off, bang bang. That's why they call me Bang Bang. Yeah, you know what I mean. And I fought a few big guys at Harvey Social Club. I fought big guys all over the gaff, you know. I've had some good fights as an amateur. It's good fights when I've done it unlicensed fighting. Anyway, we then decided, me, Jim, and I think it was someone else, I'm not quite sure, my brother-in-law, I don't know, I forget now, I can't remember. I had to go and see Lenny McLean, and I had to go see Frank Warren, and we met. I think it was either Frankie Warren's house or Lenny McLean's house, or I don't know. I think we went to a pub after, and they sit down and had a chat. Yeah, um, the fight never ever happened. We had two. It was supposed to be two fights. So there was two programs. I showed up on both these programs. Lenny never showed up. Not listen. I don't disrespect Lenny, mate. Lenny McLean was a good fighter. For someone who's never had put gloves on before, he was a very good fighter, mate, and he had plenty of heart. But when I told you, when I met him, he wasn't that big, powerful guy. He got like that training on steroids, and he, blew up to about, 20 odd stone, 23 stone, something like that, massive, yeah? Then he was people looked at him and he's a growler, wasn't he? And I've seen him fight quite a lot of times as a growler. Cliff Fields, me and Cliff very close, yeah, because I used to work with Cliff and Jimmy Tippet. Cliff, a very, very good fighter. Wasn't fighting no one, wasn't fighting anybody at all. Could punch. And Lenny kept on about Cliff all the time, and Lenny come unstuck with Cliff. The first time he came right unstuck. The second time, Clifffield made him bankrupt, I believe. Then Johnny Waldron, same thing. Johnny Waldron was only a cruiserweight, really. Johnny Waldron, about 15 stone, something like that. He wasn't a true heavyweight, but Johnny Waldron was a good fighter. Johnny Waldron beat Lenny twice. But it wasn't about being beat by these people. It was about that he got in the ring with them, and it takes a lot of bottle to get in the ring and fight two fighters like that who both was professional fighters. It takes a lot of bottle to do that, and all us fighters had that bottle. It's not easy. It's not easy, especially in them days. In them days, it wasn't one of those things where you had a fight one day, and then a year later you have another fight. Unlicensed fighting was where you went into a dressing room and just talked, and just say, "Well, I want to fight you. I'll fight you. I'll fight you next week, or in 2 weeks' time, or whatever. I've got. I'm going to fight someone, but I'll fight you." And that's exactly how it was. That's what unlicensed fighting in them days was far, far, far better than what it is today. Today I ain't got a clue. It's all like puffified, isn't it? It's like very, hello and all that game, isn't it? It's not the same thing, mate. It isn't the same thing. They go out and punch a little bag and, don't do no real road work. They don't really train for a fight as such, but they want 6 months to a year to train. Whereas in nowadays, unlicensed fighting, they was always fit, because they had one fight after another fight after another fight after another fight, It wasn't that you had time really to go running, You'd have a fight on a Monday, and then you'd maybe have another fight on a Friday or Saturday. And that's what unlicensed fighting was about in nowadays. Powerful, strong men. And being that I come from West London, with this woman, and I thought to myself, yeah, mate, this is my chance to get into the unlicensed fighting. But then, after me doing all this unlicensed fighting, that end of London, South East London, North East, and all that, and whatever over there, I've decided to come back to West London and try and get into my own shows. So I met a guy called Bob Coleman, who I used to work with years ago, and he used to work for a company called Octopus Productions. They used to do all scenery sets and things like that, which I worked with him, yeah, going all round about, Helsinki. I've been about a bit with him, yeah. So we was talking about getting a gymnasium in Ealing Broadway, in a place called Buffalo's, which is an old carpet warehouse, and we wanted to take that and turn it into a gym. So Bob said to me, listen, this gym game ain't going to kick off, Ray. I don't think it's worth it, mate. You know what I mean? All of a sudden, there's gyms everywhere. You know what I mean? We were too slow. Bob was too slow to come with me to do it, you know. And then now there's gyms absolutely everywhere in Ealing. There'll be 5, 6, 7 gyms in Ealing, Ealing Broadway, around that manner. So we mucked up big time, but that's a learning curve, isn't it? And so I got hold of Bob and I said, look, I fancy getting into the unlicensed fighting, which I've been doing over in South East London, Lewis all around there. What do you reckon? Should we do it? He went, yeah, let's do it, try it. So we got together, Acton Town Hall, went in and see him and got it together, mate, and started getting fighters in there and some good shows, 2 good shows we had. The police wouldn't let us have the third one. The council wouldn't let us have the third one, and something happened, and not, you know, it ruined it. It ruined that for us again, yeah. So because it ruined us for him, for me, I went back that way, over South East London, North London, and started having more fights over there, and got a flat over there. And I loved it, man. I didn't want to stop. I love my fights fighting. I love unlicensed fighting. I just loved it. And then because the money wasn't bad, but greed sets in. The greed sets in. Me going back to Acton, meeting people that I know, meeting people that are active. So what I've done, I started looking after doors again, the Venue Victoria, Lucky's, and Crispin's, and other clubs and pubs and this, that, and the other, and meeting people and having loads more fights. And you know, and I thought to myself, well, this game's too much for me, mate. What are you getting at? What are you getting? £50, £60 a night, having a punch up, chances someone waits for you after the fight, come out, get your legs shot on. It's not worth it, mate. It ain't worth it. So I decided to go on with a few people I know and start looking for bits of work, start going to work again. And like Bob's your uncle, and get caught and get Big Bird, mate. And that's it. And that's what happens in your life, you know. And the only thing I'm gutted about is that I didn't stick to my unlicensed fighting like I should have done. I was good at it, you know, and in my times, there was only 5 people who were quiet that I wanted to fight with. That was Lenny, be Roy Shaw, be Cliff Fields, Johnny Waldron, and maybe, who else could it be? Maybe Lou Yates. Lou Yates was a good fighter, up and coming, could have a right scrap. He was fighting no one. Yeah, there was about the 5, you know. And Jimmy Tippet, he loved me. He loved me to death, Jimmy. He loved me like his own son. I was training him all the time. To train, you know, and go running. I mean, I remember Jimmy used to drive the car to a certain place, get me out the car, say, right, find you on my way back, and leave me there and drive back home. You know, and I was maybe do 8, 9 miles, you know, but I loved it, mate. He taught me a lot. He taught me a lot about floor work. He taught me a lot about bag work. He taught me a lot about sparring. And what I loved about, even when I was an amateur fighter, when I was to go down to Aberstock Hill, what I loved about it was sparring. I used to love sparring. Sparring, I think, was better, the best workout you could possibly have. Better than anything, pads, bag, anything like that. Sparring was the best. It learnt you a lot. 16-ounce glove sparring. Sometimes you go down a couple of gloves, maybe, I don't know, 10 ounce or whatever, but try 12 ounce or whatever, and you know, but it's best to spar with 16-ounce gloves. But I also love it, man. I also love it. I also love sparring. That was my thing. I think sparring was the best thing you could possibly do as a fighter. Now, you know, I've got a gym near me. I've got a couple of bags up there. I've got gloves up there. I've got weights. It's been cold up there all winter, so I haven't been able to go up there and train. The weather's changing now. I've got my own gym in here in my flat. I've got a gym. I've got quite a bit of weights in there. So I do my weights line every morning. I love it. I mean, I've been brought up with a gym. The gym's been my thing all my life. The only thing I'm gutted about really is when my mate come out of prison, Jefferson King. He come here. We was going to do some personal training here, me and Jeff. Something happened. I don't think things went all boss-eyed, and so I don't know what happened. I don't know where Jeff went. Just disappeared. The whole lot of it just went. Jeff's been doing a few podcasts, a few videos with other people. I wish Jeff would see my my videos and give me a call. You know, he's got my number. Give me a call. I don't know what's happened to Jeff. He's just gone missing, yeah. But Jefferson King, he was someone I looked up to. As far as the body's concerned, he had a fantastic body, mate. He was so big, it was just unbelievable. Shoulders were massive, mate. He could have a fight. Ex-Marine, he wasn't a fool. He's done, American football. The guy, he's done everything you can possibly do physically, you know. And it was just gutted that me and him fell apart like that, you know. He was, a great fighter. I wanted to do my unlicensed shows. I wanted to get things going, doing unlicensed shows myself. But some of these things never happen because the people you're around are not really interested, mate. You know, they're not interested. People that are getting, good money are doing what they're doing, and the multi-millionaires. I'm with a millionaire at the minute. You know, he's my best pal, mate. He doesn't anything that I want, I get. Yeah, not anything, obviously so, but most things that I get. Yeah, got me a gym, got me my flat, looks after me, mate. He's my mate. He bought a Bentley the other day. It cost him 260 grand. It cost him brand new Bentley. He got it a little bit cheaper because the mileage was on the clock, 5,000 miles on the clock. I think he got it for about 190 grand. Ain't bad, is it? 190 grand for a car. But he's got a nice Bentley. Beautiful car, mate. I'm hoping, I should be taking pictures of it, but he doesn't like me taking pictures of the car. But it's nice to go out in the Bentley. I've been out a few times with the car. We've been to Mills in the car. But it's nice to have a nice guy around you, mate, a nice mate, you know. He looks after me, and I'm happy, mate. I've got more now than not that I've ever had, because when I lived in Kingston, I had it all, yeah. I had everything. I had my own house, cars, everything. But he looks after me. He don't let me get myself in any trouble. I keep well out of trouble as much as possible. The thing, I'm an IPP. I've been in IPP for a long time, yeah. I'm waiting now. All my paperwork's been done. My paperwork's been in for about, a month now, a bit more than that. I'm waiting for a reply from the parole board to see if they release me on my IPP. I've kept myself clean, kept myself quiet. I haven't caused no problems. It's very easy, mate. It's quite easy for me to. There's quite a lot of people that take the piss out of me, yeah, do certain things on podcasts and bits and pieces and say things and do this. It's quite easy for me to go down and crush their heads like grapes, but I think to myself, what's the point? What am I going to get out of that? The only thing I'm going to get out of that is get put back to prison. So because of my inside tells me, leave off, mate. Leave off. It ain't worth the aggro. It ain't worth the aggro, yeah? I could easily go and do it, mate. I know that I could easily go and murder 2 or 3 of these, but what's the point? I don't want to get involved in that shit, mate. You know what I mean? As far as I'm concerned, they're little boys, yeah? And little boys should really watch what they're saying, but what can you do, because you'll see what it is a lot of familiarity breeds content, they say, doesn't it? Is it something like that, mate? I think it is. But anyway, I've learnt my lesson. I'm not on drugs, I'm not on coke, I'm not on crack. If I was on any of them drugs, mate, there'd be in a lot of trouble. They wouldn't have cared. They would have just gone straight through the front doors of everybody. But I'm not bothered, mate. I just take it with a pinch of salt. Think it's very, very funny, and I'm living my life. I'm living a good life. I can go to my freezer, and my freezer's packed with food. I can go in my fridge. My fridge has got loads of food. I go to my wallet. I've always got lots of money. I can phone my mate up, and he come pick me up in a Bentley, pick me up in the Range Rover, pick me up in the Aston Martins. Anything that I want, I get. What more do I want? What, you can't get a better mate than that. You know what I mean? Anything I want, I get. I'm quite spoilt. And spoilt is this guy has just spent a fortune. I won't tell you what he spent on the book, but he spent a fortune on my book. Yeah. There's so much content on my book. It's just crazy. It's out very soon. Everybody's going, 2-3 years it took. Yeah, but listen, you can do a book in a week. You can do a book in a week, mate. You can do a book, like people get books out, 3 or 4 books, 5 books, 6 books in a year. You know what I mean? And what sort of books are they? You know what I mean? But to get a book out, it's took 2 years or more. That book is the business, mate. That book, the content in that book is just unbelievable. And I can't wait. I'm excited myself because I haven't really, the whole book hasn't really been read. It's been read to me, but in bits and stages. So we want really the book to be read out in a day, yeah? Just sit there and listen to it. I mean, this guy first started reading this book to me, yeah? And my mate was sitting down there and the tears started coming down my cheeks because it's so sad to think that I've gone through all that in my life, yeah? And I'm still here. Anyway, bang, bang, rail. Nice one.